Morning, everyone. Here's Shannon Smith from Smart Business Solutions. Just to go through briefly, what do we mean by the estate briefing paper? So as you would have seen from some of our correspondence, what we're talking about is making sure that when we do your estate planning, you're not just getting wills prepared by the lawyer, that they don't have consideration for the tax impact in that. Now, a lot of the lawyers, when they will do this, they will note in, I guess you could say nearly the fine print, that you should speak to your tax advisor, but the number of people that I know that don't do that and don't realise that a lot of what they're actually putting in their will doesn't cover all of their assets. So we like to work with lawyers. Obviously, we're not lawyers, but the estate briefing paper really can help us kind of be the link between yourselves, and you might not be fully all over all of your financial aspects and structuring as well. So we can be kind of that link between you and the lawyer to make sure that we get the most tax effective outcome for all of your beneficiaries. So just to give you an idea of what the estate planning briefing paper looks like. Now, we do spend time with you going through and going through all of your information. If you're a financial planning client or an accounting client, we're going to have a lot of that information, but there is going to be the aspects in relation to what you want after life. So we'll get all of your details. We'll go through your family tree. So we'll go through a lot more detail than we've ever before, probably around your family, assets, liabilities, insurance, and different parts on the key people. Looking at all of your entities. And then this is the part, then we'll talk about what you want as your afterlife arrangements. So you'll actually go through and say to us that, I want to leave X amount to these beneficiaries, these to our kids. And here's what I ultimately want to do. From that, we will have a look at that and actually come up as to whether that's going to be the most tax effective outcome for you and your family as a wider perspective. So as I said, we're not the lawyers. The lawyers are the ones that then draft it all up. What we do is go through and make sure that we're looking at all your illegal entities, all the assets that you have. What is it that you want in a perfect world, and how may we make some recommendations or changes to make sure that we get the most tax effective outcome. So you've got, what is it that you want? We can go through some of the options on what a testamentary trust is, which has some really good asset protection to keep your assets that you have generated over your life in your, in a sense, in your bloodline going forward. It also has a lot of tax effective aspects as well. From that, we will then actually get you to pass this on to your lawyer, and we can also have a chat to the lawyer if they've got any questions, and they will be able to draft it accordingly. So this example that we've come up for you is actually going through, and you'll see a lot of familiar names in here. We call it the Smart family, and going through a lot of those details. So we kind of go through the family tree, put this together. What are your assets and liabilities that you have now? Who are the key people in the family? Then we have our summary of what you own and control by person legally. And that's to make sure that anything that the lawyers then write up is actually covered by your will, depending on what your situation is. Here is what you've told us that you want. And we actually show a picture, which I find quite useful to be able to show if, for example, if you have in Paul's death, this is where the assets go. Just to make sure that what you're thinking will be the outcome is actually the outcome. And a lot of people love the visual. I find that's quite powerful when we're going through that with clients. So we go through these aspects. We would go through once, you'll do a questionnaire to start off with, then we'll sit down and go through with you. And that's where we kind of play a bit with the family tree and how the assets move around. And then we'll come up with this document for you. And you can bring that to your lawyers, and lawyers are loving it when they get this from us, because often they're not tax experts, so they can definitely put the assets where you want them to go. We may turn around and say, well, hang on a minute, let's not give that asset from your super fund to that particular person. They're not a cis dependent. They're going to pay the highest tax rate on that. So let's channel it a different way, or some other structuring ideas. So that's what we call the estate briefing paper. That's going to make sure that what the lawyers prepare at the end of the day is going to be what you want, and it's going to be, most importantly, tax effective for your beneficiaries, so they're not losing at least a third of what they're getting in tax. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Thank you.